Screen Slayer interrupts this program for an important announcement.
Nothing in Pixar's library may be more adult than The Incredibles. The original movie and its sequel are filled with adult humor, risque moments, and scenes that will make you cringe when a young child is sitting there watching with you. So what better time to take a look back and enjoy them all for your viewing pleasure? After seeing some of these, you may never look at The Incredibles the same way again. Drinking games are a great way to get social with your friends and enjoy viewing shows or movies. But we never expected the party game to become the central part of a scene within The Incredibles. Yet, when Mr. Incredible and his family stumble upon some guards, that's exactly what they're doing. As the guards watch monitors of Syndrome's robot wreaking havoc on the city, they pop the cork on some wine and decide to take a shot for every person that runs away. And that got us to thinking. Why don't we have our own Pixar drinking game? Take a shot every time a Toy Story character looks at the Andy signature. Take a shot every time you see a Pizza Planet truck. Take a shot every time you hear John Ratzenberger's voice.
Behold the Underminer!
Okay, whoa, that's playing a bit too much. On to the next entry. You're playing a dangerous game there, Incredibles. The Incredibles franchise didn't just build up a family of superheroes. They built up a whole world of them. Dozens of heroes are featured within small moments of The Incredibles. But there's one Pixar will probably never give big screen treatment to. On a newspaper headline early in the movie, you can spot a pretty disturbing story about X-ray vision. Basically, the guy was arrested for being a peeping Tom. He used his powers to look at others in ways that they did not want to be looked at. The sub-headline even calls the guy a super snooper. Yeah, hopefully the headline flashes by your children's gaze quick enough that you're not missing a part of the movie explaining just what a peeping Tom is. You have to wonder what other ideas were on the drawing board for when it came to describing superheroes and the various crimes going against them. The Incredibles 2 featured a big twist where the screenslaver was not who we thought it was. The true villain turned out to be Evelyn, who wanted to destroy all the supers that she could. Evelyn is voiced by Catherine Keener in the film, and it didn't take people long to find the connection between her hypnosis-driven villain to another iconic role that Keener has played. Yep, hypnosis must be big on Keener's acting resume because she also played the conniving mother in the horror film Get Out. In the movie, she plays Missy Armitage, another character who appears gentle and sweet at first until she begins her hypnosis process. The point would have really hit home if we got to see Evelyn stirring a cup of tea while characters were going through hypnosis. Or maybe it just would have conjured way too many memories of the horrors we witnessed in Get Out.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
The Incredibles franchise goes beyond just the two films with multiple shorts and bonus features all as part of the canon. One of the most popular from the DVD release of the first movie is entitled Jack Jack Attack. In the short, a babysitter must deal with Jack Jack's newfound powers, and things get more than a little hectic. And just when you think things couldn't get any worse for the babysitter, Syndrome shows up at the door. When questioned about the large S on his outfit, he claims it stands for sitter.
Originally, I was gonna have initials for babysitter, but then I would have been going around wearing a big BS.
Yeah, it isn't very hard to catch the double meaning here with the whole BS joke. And while the line provides a fun laugh for parents, the last thing that they want is for their kids to be shouting, "I don't want this BS," you know, as in babysitter. Syndrome's big mouth can cause a lot of trouble, and this wasn't his only controversial line from the franchise. You want dark? Well, you get dark. If you thought the first Incredibles was full of big surprises and moments, then things would be taken to a whole other level within the first 20 minutes of The Incredibles 2. After a lengthy and violent opening battle against the Underminer, we're treated to a flashback involving the parents of Winston and Evelyn, a loving couple who believed in superheroes so much that they had a direct hotline to reach them. Well, after the superheroes get banned, we witness a break-in on their house with a scary-looking gun and a home invasion that turns into the last night of their lives. Holy cow! And you thought the old couple montage in Up was sad. Well, this old couple is just offed in the middle of the night, in a Disney movie. And we saw everything shy of the gosh darn bullet penetrating their skin. Yikes! This scene seriously felt like an episode of Dateline or something. The visuals in both Incredibles movies stand out for their design and style, especially when showcasing various powers. When it comes to Elastigirl, there are multiple ways that the film could have shown us her powers, but they let her tell us instead. Hours before their wedding night, Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible play coy with each other on a rooftop, with Mr. Incredible insisting that he works alone. So what was Elastigirl's response to this?
Well, I think you need to be more flexible.
We see what you did there, Elastigirl, and while the kiddos may not have picked up on all that sensual tension, for the older audience, it was pretty hard to miss. In the opening of The Incredibles 2, the Parr family lose their home and are forced to move into a motel named the Safari Court. The design and setup of the motel was done very purposefully, as it was based off of the infamous Safari Inn in Los Angeles. The motel has been used as the background of numerous movies and television shows, including True Romance, 6 Feet Under, and Apollo 13. In real life, it's known for quite the party scene and has been an iconic part of Los Angeles for several years. The reputation it's had over the years include the infamous hourly room rates as opposed to overnight rates. Yeah, probably not the best place for a family of young children to hang out at. As Mr. Incredible finds the thrill of being super again, he goes through a lot of changes, especially due to his training. Apparently, the weight loss and muscle gain has also increased his testosterone a pretty good amount, because between work and training, he's spending an awful lot of alone time with his wife. The montage may speed past, but we get the picture as the couple sneaks around, and Elastigirl pulls him back into the house for some, how should we describe it? Morning delight? Or in this case, super morning delight? No wonder why he's so happy. We're actually a little surprised the sequel didn't focus on Elastigirl's unexpected pregnancy. Apparently, we weren't the only ones to notice the frisky behavior between Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. After catching Mr. Incredible, Syndrome is also able to snatch up the rest of the family. Syndrome realizes that not only did Elastigirl marry Mr. Incredible, but they had children together. So Syndrome manages to blurt out the first thing that comes to his mind.
And got busy!
This has to be one of the most direct Disney references to getting between the sheets that we've ever seen. And while Syndrome is the clear enemy of Mr. Incredible, he did actually seem impressed, and delivered the line as a compliment rather than an insult. No shame from Syndrome. And while Helen and Bob have had plenty of time to get busy, the couple have been through some ups and downs. So after Bob mysteriously disappears on a faraway island, Helen will have her suspicions. And then, when she sees her husband in the arms of another woman, things get pretty tense. Of course, we all know that Mirage is just comforting Mr. Incredible when he finds out that his family is actually still alive. But after Helen delivers a punch from across the room, we have to deal with some intense moments between the two. While on the surface it seems like Helen is just checking in on her husband, the layers of the conversation reveal a lot more. Mainly that Helen thinks Mr. Incredible was cheating on her with Mirage. He remained faithful to his wife though, and the Incredibles couple lives on to fight another incredible day together. Besides the main Incredible family, one of the biggest supporting characters is Frozone. But there are some things we definitely noticed about Frozone that perked our attention. The first? His name. We all know that Frozone is a play on the words about freezing, but the whole fro part seems to play off African American stereotypes of afros. And then there's his wife, Honey. In the first Incredibles, Honey was kept off screen. So with fans curious about what she actually looked like, Pixar designed and wrote some on-screen parts for Honey, only to cut them and leave her as a voice-only character.
Why do you need to know?
I need it!
This didn't sit well with a lot of fans, pointing out the possible stereotypes and one-note way they left a character of color off screen. Keeping her off screen didn't add or take anything away from the character, and giving Frozone's home life a little more dynamic would have made his character even more enjoyable to watch. And while Frozone may be happily married to Honey in the movie, there are some secrets from his past he hasn't quite divulged. Thanks to a DVD special feature from the first Incredibles movie, we've learned about a past relationship Frozone had with another superhero named Blazestone. In the video entitled NSA Super Interview Files, Blazestone's section includes a blurb about once being partners with Frozone, but their relationship went hot and cold. So was Frozone with Blazestone before Honey? Was she a side piece? Why don't we have a Frozone spin-off movie exploring these various relationships? Obviously, not everything has a happy ever after like Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, so it would be interesting to see exactly how Frozone's love life has panned out over the years. Oh, we're not done with Frozone yet. Time to dive deep back into the Incredibles special features, this time looking at a fake cartoon that both Mr. Incredible and Frozone provide audio commentary for. In the commentary, this is clearly Frozone's first time seeing the cartoon, and he doesn't like what he sees.
They made me a white guy.
We hear Frozone rant about the racist actions, a topic Disney doesn't often tackle. If the whitewashing of skin tones on Disney characters sounds familiar, it should, because the company had to deal with a similar controversy when the first character images from Princess and the Frog were released and Prince Naveen had noticeably lighter skin than Tiana. The Frozone issues in Mr. Incredible and Pals weren't the only things we noticed either. One of the villains the heroes take on in the story is Lady Lightbug, a flying female with a large light on her tail much like a real firefly. She eventually gets stopped by Frozone and Mr. Incredible, but instead of getting arrested or tossed in jail, our heroes decide to put her in a glass jar and hang her above the city streets much like a traffic light. While anyone who's captured fireflies as a child knows what happens when they're caught in a jar. The light slowly begins to fade and those poor bugs are left to wither and rot at the bottom of the jar. So yeah, Lady Lightbug is pretty much going to spend the rest of her days, or hours rather, in an oxygen-deprived jar, all thanks to Mr. Incredible. The NSA Super interview files may have some of the best content in all of The Incredibles extras, even if there's not much to see visually. Clearly, the writers and producers spent a lot of time developing their world of superheroes. One of the entries that stands out is for the Thrilling Three. The superhero group once consisted of Gazerbeam, Apogee, and the Phalange. Well, the trio didn't last too long, making it kinda hard to reuse the Thrilling Three over and over again. Due to this, the NSA banned any numbers used in superhero groups for the future. The trend is common in pop culture, including musical groups like Fifth Harmony, who ended up losing a member at one point. The whole team name is a fun play off the Fantastic Four, Marvel's infamous superhero group for which the Incredibles family was inspired by. Violet's journey in The Incredibles is like a lot of teenage children, except she has to add a whole other layer involving superheroes and crime fighting on top of it. It's only natural for her to have a meltdown when her crush has his memories erased and the rest of the family has to deal with the brunt of it. During the breakfast with the family, we watch as she tries to destroy her suit and rants against her father for allowing Tony's memories to get erased. After storming off, Dash has one thing to say.
Is she having adolescence?
There are many layers to this one-liner, including the bodily changes girls go through, and the changes Dash has gone through himself. In the 15 years that went by between The Incredibles and The Incredibles 2, the original Dash voice actor had to be replaced because he went through some changes of his own, and his voice got way too deep. The final score used in the big battle of The Incredibles 2 was epic, pulse-pounding, and really added to each action beat of the scene. Well, it turns out the name of the song is "Looks Like I Picked the Wrong Week to Quit Oxygen." In this movie, there is a reference to the low levels of oxygen that causes problems for Elastigirl.
When you don't have enough oxygen, things seem really silly.
But the title itself is also a reference to the classic comedy Airplane. In the film, Lloyd Bridges' character frequently uses the line, "Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit," and follows it up with a variety of things, including drinking, smoking, and sniffing glue. This Easter egg was definitely one for the adults who grew up enjoying comedy classics like Airplane.
That's right.
If you were sitting through The Incredibles 2 thinking, did I just hear that? Well, yeah, you probably did. Brad Bird really pushed the limits of the Disney censorship board and the PG rating. Characters in the film could be heard using words like hell and damn at various points in the movie. Of course, on a large scale, those words really mean nothing, but under the Disney umbrella, they are extremely risque. Naturally, some parents were upset at the use of the language, especially for the ones who brought younger see the movie. Maybe, just maybe, Brad Bird was trying to sneak in some risque words, knowing how close Disney was to owning Deadpool at the time. We can see it now. ScreenRant presents a Marvel theory, how The Incredibles secretly set up Deadpool's arrival in the MCU. Million views guaranteed.
Oh.
To help the films feel timeless and truly in their own universe, The Incredibles movies have avoided any obvious pop culture references or direct tie-ins to other superhero movies. So you don't hear Frozone referencing Nick Fury or a character claiming it could be the Endgame. But there is one reference that flew over people's heads. It's Dash's connection to Batman Begins. While the family is enjoying dinner, Dash exclaims,
It defines who I am.
in reference to fighting superheroes. When Bob questions the line, Dash states that he heard someone anyone say it on TV. While the line itself was very similar to Bruce Wayne's Batman Begins line, stating,
"It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me."
the movie is tossing a jab at Batman, basically saying they are more than just heroes and can live beyond their masks. We touched upon cursing before, but Incredibles 2 also pushes the limit when it comes to other content which may not be suitable for children. Along with the drinking game seen in the first movie, Evelyn is seen with a drink multiple times throughout the second film, and we're pretty sure that's not just water in her glass. And then there's Edna and her signature cigarette. She carries a long cigarette around, not much different from Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians. The only difference? The doggy film was made decades earlier when the dangers of smoking weren't as wide known. Disney is known for censoring all types of smoking in their films, so to have Edna carrying this around was a pretty big surprise. And even after the first film, the cigarette is able to make an appearance in the sequel. At least her official toys didn't come with this accessory. Wow, these two films have gotten away with a lot more than we ever expected. They were clearly made for a much broader audience than younger children. What moment do you think was the most risque? Were there any that we missed? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great Disney content. Thanks for watching.
Blah, blah, blah.